Benjamin Netanyahu, the Prime Minister of Israel, my country, he spoke to the United Nations today, and he said some interesting things because he actually did some backpedaling, and we'll talk about that at the end, because he came, of course, to condemn the Iran deal. Well, I tell you what, let's do that at the top. I'll just mention this because what he said was really interesting. He said, after days of listening to world leaders praise the deal with Iran, check your enthusiasm, though, at the door. He said Iran is dangerous, and we've given them access to billions of dollars, and it makes war more likely, right? Mm-hmm. But as this article in Slate points out, his heart didn't really seem into it. And then Bibi did say this deal does place several constraints on Iran's nuclear program.
That's a concession that he did not mention earlier.
And rightly so, because the international community recognized that Iran is so dangerous. You see, here's the catch. Under this deal, if Iran doesn't change its behavior, in fact, if it becomes even more dangerous in the years to come, the most important constraints will still be automatically lifted by year 10, by year 15. So it may not sound like much, but that's a change where he's saying, I got it, it's a deal. And it was also an acknowledgement of, like, this deal is on the books. It's here, and we have to live with it.
Yeah.
We, meaning Israel. So I think that's progress.
That is something.
That is something. But he came out, he gave his speech, and when he came out, there was, of course, applause. I won't characterize it. I don't know whether it was thunderous or polite or just applause. This is the United Nations. They've heard him speak before. I'm sure they are polite to world leaders. And they gave him the normal amount of applause. J.R. Jackson put this stuff together, and they applauded. And then normally when there's a you begin your speech. But that's not what happened with Benjamin Netanyahu. Here is Benjamin Netanyahu immediately after the applause stops. Speak! For the love of God, speak. Take your glasses on? No, I'm going to take the glasses off.
Wait.
And what is he doing?
Wait, are they looking at me?
What is that?
They are looking at me.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, thank God.
What just happened?
What is that guy?
Was that like his way of intimidating those who agreed with the Iran deal? It made me very uncomfortable.
It's like so we do a live show, and then we clip things out to be the individual clips, on YouTube. If we didn't care at all about the live show and we just wanted to nail the opener, that's what we might do. He doesn't care at all about the audience in the room with him.
He's just, but he's like, it's you reminded me of Putin. It was Putin.
I can see Putin doing that. Yeah, that's true.
It was
like people are like, hey man, should we applaud again?
You have to project your force around the room.
Okay, so let's get on, because he wasn't done not speaking.
Yeah.
Not speaking was a huge part of his speech, which is weird. So here he is, again, getting into the Iran deal, condemning the Iran deal, reminding everyone that they were conceding, as he says, to Iran 70 years after the end of World War II and the Holocaust and the extermination of 6 million Jews. That was his setup as he led into his big moment in the speech. Here's the setup from Netanyahu.
Iran's rulers promised to destroy my country, murder my people. And the response from this body, the response from nearly every one of the governments represented here, has been absolutely nothing. Utter silence. Deafening silence.
Okay.
None of that was true.
Deafening silence. That's his little, right. Yeah, and it was just saying the whole time. That's not true. Right. I'm pretty sure people have been talking about Iran. Aside from the way we just took sanctions away as part of this comprehensive deal done with the United States and 5 other of the most powerful countries in the world.
It's come up.
The sanctions were there. There was not deafening silence. Those were instead of deafening silence, there was crushing sanctions.
The sanctions were there, but no one was talking about them.
Nobody's talking. So, but forget all that. It doesn't matter really what he said, because then, as you remember, he ended with deafening silence. And then to make a point, and we've already seen him inexplicably do it at the beginning of his speech, he is going to use his own silence to make a point. Now, I will warn you, though, as we go into this, as you all know, at the United Nations, there is a 45-second talk clock,
Yeah, of course.
like a shot clock in the NBA.
Yeah, established in Geneva.
And the clock was on, and it was incredibly dramatic as to whether Benjamin Netanyahu would beat the UN talk clock. Let's see.
Deafening silence.
And there's the clock. 45 seconds. The 45-second shot clock. Remember, it used to be a 60-second shot clock, but things didn't progress, and so they I
The
believe,
world's a busier place.
right. The rules committee moved it to 45 about 6 years ago.
He's planning his move.
We're at 30 seconds. Will he beat the clock?
Did I turn off the oven?
Now it's just an NBA shot clock. We're not. By the way,
Oh my God.
we're not doing anything here.
Oh my God.
Let's be silent for 5 seconds. Give people a sense. "12 seconds left. He's still not talking. We're not killing the audio.
A single drop of sweat.
You think he's
running
gonna
down
make
his
it?
face.
There's only 5 seconds left on the shot clock.
It's never reached 0.
Oh, Jesus, speak.
Perhaps you
Yes! Oh, yes, he made it.
Why
Oh,
is
thank God.
joining you in celebrating this.
Oh, such a relief. I thought it was going to be a turnover, and the president, the Ukrainian president, was just going to get up there and start
No,
speaking.
the main guard was literally flipping through the manual. What do I do if it hits 0? He's like taking out his rifle. Do I need it? I don't know.
Man,
I don't even know what to say to that.
what is it?
It was obviously some sort of
Yeah.
strategy to really, really drive his point home. But if anything, it distracted from his message.
Look, I appreciate a good awkward silence, but this isn't a first date. This is the UN, man. Come on, you got to move it along.
Yes.
I don't know what would happen if he violated the talk clock. Man, that is.
We don't want to know.
Would have been a story. Thankfully, he
did
spoke
talk.
really at 1 second.
Can
there.
we have
Yes.
a talk clock at TYT, but only
No,
it
no,
needs to
no, we can't.
stop
No,
people
we
from
can't.
talking
Nope,
after
we
45
can't.
seconds?
Absolutely not.
At first, I was like, 45 seconds, that's ridiculous. And then I started, no, that would actually work. We should
Yeah.
establish it. Maybe the fans can do it.
Maybe. Jake would fail miserably.
Anyway, to finish Netanyahu, whatever his point was, I believe he failed.
I think so. Although the right wing seems to like it.
But I mean, no,
He's getting a lot of good coverage.
for the silence?
For the silence, yeah.
that
Deafening
right?
silence to make a point, to prove his point. It's all over the place. And look, I don't like the weird, awkward silence. It might have sounded good on paper, but I don't think, well, it didn't sound like anything in person. It was literally silence. I get the points that he was trying to make about Iran. Look, he's the leader of Israel. He wants to protect Israel. I believe that he has the wrong policy in terms, I think that this deal will actually make Israel safer. But of course, he's going to do what he thinks he has to do. I believe that he is spreading misinformation about the lack of discussion that has gone on in the UN, which does exist, and the fact that many who don't feel his obvious strong emotional connection to Israel, independents, believe that it will actually make them safer.
So Benjamin Netanyahu's major criticism of this Iran deal is that in 10 years, after certain elements of this deal are no longer intact, Iran will be able to develop their nuclear program and potentially nuclear weapons, and then Israel is going to be in a lot of trouble. But what makes him think that at that point, should Iran start doing that the U.S. wouldn't step in? I mean, the U.S. already stepped in with their nuclear program, which is why the sanctions were originally in place anyway.
Yeah, and he acknowledged in this speech that he continues to see Barack Obama and the United States as Israel's strongest ally.
Exactly.
Which the Republicans, of course, will give no credit for. But
Well, I'll explain to you. Let me tell you what his fear is as to what will happen.
You gotta
We'll
play
be
with
right
your-
back.
okay.